Hi everybody, this is Scott with the Believers Underground. Hi, and I got a little demonstration for you. This is a chunk of ice. We're going to make this an iceberg, and this is Greenland, the area we're going to be looking at. Now, what happens in these icebergs is you'll get holes punched through them through moulins. Okay, that's when the water pools at the top of the iceberg, cuts a channel, and then goes into a hole, and then goes underneath the iceberg. And what we're going to look at is, here's a little table. Purposely got a jacked up table here to do this demonstration.
There's so much energy here, the force of this water. What's the speed?
That peaks at 9.4 miles an hour.
That's really moving. This must be about 1,000 cubic feet per second. This is more melt than I was expecting.
On a scale from 0 to 10, how serious is this melt issue?
It's an 11.
In just one day, nearly 42 million litres of fresh water drained down this one moulin alone. And Jason believes there are hundreds, possibly thousands more of them on the Greenland ice cap.
Okay. And there it is. There's the iceberg. It's on the ice, and it's not moving. It's just sitting there, and we can just sit here and let it melt. Okay. But what we're going to see is what happens when the water gets in between the ice and the permafrost that's underneath it. Okay. This land is frozen underneath it in Greenland, and crushed and compressed. Okay. What happens when this ice starts to create moulins and that water goes down into the ice? This is what happens. I got a nice little thing of water to demonstrate, and we got some lines filled out right here. Hope you can see that. Okay, let me get my book out of the way here. That thing is going across a lot of states. But anyhow, it gets in under the ice. Okay, eventually. Okay, and as the ice gets on with this, and it goes underneath the glacier, and I'm not able to get it under the glacier. Let's try to get it under the glacier. Anyway, what happens is it starts to slide. Okay, it slides. Okay, this is the ice moving off on its own. When you get this water going down into these fissures, it actually puts a water layer in between the permafrost and the ice underneath it, and it'll just hydroplane it right on out. And we'll look at it sliding away as it's gonna slide like that, right on down into the ocean. Okay. Basically, that's how it works, okay? It hydroplanes on top of the permafrost, and that glacier starts to move very easily, okay? You get a little bit of water underneath it, and you can see a little bit of water under it, but it starts just hydroplane right down. And that's what happened thousands of years ago when that water came off from the Great Lakes area in Canada, and it just slid right into the ocean. Okay, now they're showing this area as this area fell into the Atlantic last time. That triggered the ice age over here, or mini ice age. It doesn't pull up like this. This is a lie. What it does is it pulls up in little sections, creates moulins. Those moulins get between the permafrost and the ice, and then it just slides the sucker right on into the ocean. And that's how it rolls. And you'll see how it broke through. Okay, and they show it as water spilling out, but it's not. That whole ice sheet just slid right the heck off. It goes into this current. Okay, this current freezes and stalls. And this ice that's on Greenland right now, which is melting at 400 gigatons last year, this year it's on a record pace. Probably going to be 600 gigatons. And that water's not going anywhere. It's going to stall that ocean current again. And then eventually, probably in the next 3 to 5 years, this iceberg is just going to slide right the heck off and into your ocean, okay? So that's why I have my sackcloth over here. If you don't know what sackcloth is, this is sackcloth, okay? And I'm sure all the volcanoes that are going to blow up off this will provide more than enough ashes because it's sinking the ocean floor. As I've proven in other videos, and now NASA's confirmed it, as the sea level fell last year. It did not rise, yet we had a record melt, okay? The ocean's like a bowl, okay? It pushes it down, and then the coast extend out. But that's why the sea level fell. It didn't rise last year, it fell. And it's sinking those islands like Japan, and all these other islands like New Island, it sank overnight. It's called ocean floor deformation. And this iceberg's going to go, okay? It's just going to slide off and go right into the ocean, just like it did before.
Ocean accelerates, driven by forces deep underground.
The Greenland ice sheet was always assumed to be too huge, too cold for it to shift. But new research reveals how warming at the surface and faster melting lead to the formation of lakes. The water in them then drains down through the ice, and when it reaches the bottom of the ice sheet, the water allows the ice to move, in fact, to double its speed towards the sea.
During extreme melt events, big melt years, we see the ice sheet accelerate. We see it actually lift up off the bed and then accelerate. And so that's actually a new finding relative to the study of glaciology, that the ice sheet can respond very quickly to climate change, on the order of weeks or months, as opposed to hundreds and hundreds of years.
Okay, this is your current that stalled last year, all right? When 400 gigatons came in from Greenland, it stalled this, all right? And this is where your warm currents come up through here. Now, you used to have the current that went up and around through here, but now you got a new current that has been created, and it's a deep freezing current, which means salt, and that's the NIJ, and I'll put that link into this video. Well, I'll just put my video on that in here, and you can look at all the other links too. What's happening here is called the wild card, and I'll put that video in here with all the links so you can look for yourself. And that water is pooling at the bottom of the ocean right here. It's not going anywhere. And with this jet that's coming in here, this lower current, this freezing current, it's carrying a lot of salt with it. So this area is not freezing. It's 26.5 degrees. And now you're having a record melt coming off this again. The stalls again, it's going to continue to stall and then go again, stall, go again until it just completely stalls. And when that happens, you're talking an ice age all over Europe. And it's coming. There's nothing going to stop it. All right? Anyway, information shock resistance, and when that happens, you know, the United Kingdom, just as ice melting off of the into that ocean right now is creating a mini ice age condition for you over in the United Kingdom, okay? And that weight it's gonna trigger an earthquake out there as well. It's a gimme. But when that iceberg finally falls all the way in, I mean, it's not good for the Atlantic Ocean or the East Coast. Anywhere over there, man, it's one big nightmare. And you know, since they got all these nuclear reactors now, and we're going to have more meltdowns, that's probably how they're going to go with their global, you know, thing. They were pulling the CO2 gas con, but when all these nuclear reactors start blowing up from these major earthquakes, and I mean, like, you got a meltdown going in Japan for over 6 months now. You know, you talk about it on TV. And you've had a protest over there in New York for a week, and they ain't talking on TV. I mean, heck, we broke the story over at LBN. I had Nigel, one of the protesters over there. They're protesting in 3 states. But anyhow, this is not good for you guys over there in the United Kingdom and the East Coast. As more and more of this water melts, more and more of those moulins create, eventually it's just going to take that whole ice shelf and just move it right the heck off into the ocean.
Liberty Broadcasting Network. entertaining.
I feel good that I'm keeping myself informed.
It's great. They say everything that people want to say, but they usually don't.
Can you handle the truth?